All right, there. Let's get started. Thank you all for joining the Startup Club HealthTech Investment Conference. I'm Batuan, and I'm the host today. For those who don't know about us, the Startup Club is a global entrepreneur community. So we connect entrepreneurs, startups with investors and corporate through these fundraising events and pitch nights since 2019. We cover health tech industry, fintech, adtech, proptech, green tech, B2 tech, and variety of industries as well. And today we will feature 8 health tech startups that have been selected out of 100 plus application. I just share my screen so that you can take a look at the presenters and advisory board as I'm speaking. As you can see, we have companies focusing on different fields around health tech, like obesity care, retinal disease treatment, mental health, cardiovascular monitoring, surgical care, and many more. Each company will do 5-minute presentation that will be followed by 5-minute feedback and Q&A session with the advisory board members. And as you can see, we work with 5 investors for the advisory board. I'd also like to thank Test Pro Consulting for partnering with us for this event. They're a leading software testing firm with innovation fund. And I will ask Anil from Test Pro, he's a managing partner at Test Pro, to introduce the business very briefly. So thank you. Shall we meet the advisory board? So we can start with Estia. Estia, could you please introduce yourself?
Yeah, for sure. Nice to be here, and thanks for inviting me. Excited to meet everyone. Yeah, so I'm Estia. I work as an investor at EK Ventures. We are a pre-seed and seed fund investing in healthcare and consumer health as well. Tickets range from £1 to £2 million, and we only invest in the UK, but I'm excited to see companies across Europe today as well.
Thank you, Estia. Great to have you here. Harry.
Hello, I'm Harry. I do angel investing for the Songhurst family office. So we do geographic agnostic, sector agnostic investing, small check size to 25 to 100K, mostly pre-seed seed. And I've done about 125 investments over the last 5 years. And we have quite a lot of medtech investments, so things like AccuRx, Care and Health, Reba Health, but the best one is probably Sarah Health. So yeah, thanks for having me and look forward to hearing the pitches and asking questions.
Amazing. Thanks so much. Thank you for being here, Harry. Maya.
Hi, I'm Maya. I work with Angelini Ventures. We are a 300 million fund investing across Europe and the US. We invest across verticals in biotech, health tech, and digital med tech, focusing on Series A and B investments. Really happy to be here and looking forward to hearing more about these companies.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for joining, Maya. Gautam.
Hi, everyone. This is Gautam Kent. I work with TCP Health Ventures based here in London. We have a global strategy of investing into medtech companies, medical devices, and digital health is our focus area. We have deployed over the course of the last 10 years, we've deployed $200 million of capital across 15 plus investments. We have a global focus with a positive bias for the US market. And yeah, excited to be here. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Gautam. Sigvard.
Yeah. Hey, everyone. So I'm Sigvard. I'm one of the associates at Verge HealthTech, and we're a HealthTech exclusive VC fund based out of Singapore, but we invest globally. So our sweet spot is seed up to Series A, ticket size $500,000 up to 1.5 million. And yeah, excited to learn more about the pitches and providing feedback.
Amazing. Great to have you here. Thanks so much. Thank you all the advisory boards. And Anil, are you there? Would you like to talk a bit more about the Test Pro Consulting?
Yeah, hey everyone. So Anil from Test Pro Consulting. We're a technology firm. We've partnered with the Startup Club on this event. Even though our core business, I would say, is technology, testing, software development. We also work in the investment area. So we have a board of investors who are looking for health techs and fintechs to invest in. And that's been our journey. We sort of diversified a little bit from where we started from and ended up doing investments with startups in those sectors. And I'm also looking forward to hearing the pitches and being able to support in any way I can.
So thanks so much, Anil. Great to have Tespro as our partner. All right, we can now start with the presentation. So event will take less than 2 hours. There won't be any break. As mentioned, each company will do 5-minute presentation. Then there will be a 5-minute Q&A, mainly with the advisory board members, but all the investors or audience entrepreneurs, you can use the chat to interact with each other or interact with the presenters. But in terms of like opening the mic and asking the questions, only the advisory board members will do that, like given the time constraint. All right, we will start with Easy Way to Health. Renato Romani, founder of the company, will present the opportunity. Renato,
can you hear me? I'm able to share my screen?
Yes, right now you should be able to do that.
Can I complain about the camera that make my hair too white? Come on, what's going on?
You could, but it looks great.
Okay, I will share my screen. See?
Sure.
Yep. Can you guys see it?
Yes, we can see it now.
Wait a second. Okay, this. So can I start how it goes? I'm the first one. Only the first one have this whole thing to do, right? So how it works? I can start it. You tell me what to do.
You can start. You can start. You have 5 minutes to present.
Okay, so let's start. Okay, so my name is Renato Romani. I'm a medical doctor and founder of EW2Health. And we have a humble purpose to improve health globally. And and we started okay, perfect. We started addressing a big problem in our society, obesity. It's not so sexy, but it's maybe the largest program that we have in the healthcare situation these days. So we see a kind of tsunami of GLP-1 coming towards the weight loss market. It will change a lot, these new medicines for sure. But I also see that the clinics are suffering to deliver. And it's the complexity of the patient care, concerns about long-term efficacy, right? So that's why we are transforming obesity care with our weight management system. We reduce the complexity of this the obesity treatment only with one single metric. I'm super proud about that. So we have been working on this for a long time, and it's kind of a very interesting solution. So as we help users to lose the fear and anxiety to monitor themselves, this is very important. Sometimes we forget that. We generate more data. We have more information, and our predictive behavior analytics, which is unique in our solution, allow us to offer actionable information for clinics to be more proactive, and they can personalize their programs. And because of that, we have amazing results so far. So we increase the adherence a lot, and we reduce the clinic's costs as we improve the customer lifetime value. So we're super proud about what we are doing. And as the business perspective, we are a B2B business. We're earning, the subscription fee. So the clinics, a large weight loss program, HMOs, self-insured companies, they pay a fee to use our services. They can tailor-made through APIs, and then have a supported fees. They can train in their services. And also we have companies that offer services and products through our platform. Right. And we see a massive opportunity on the market today. So this GLP-1, it's really bringing a lot of changes in the market. We see the difficulty to these clinics to keep up. So today they have this reactive approach, right? So they normally try to use the old system. And with this GLP-1, people need to change their lifestyle. So there's a big problem. So we are super happy to be in this moment in these markets. And the addressable market it's of course global market, and it's absolutely gigantic. We already started in Brazil, here in the Netherlands, we have Spain, UK, a few things that is happening. We are super excited. But we are not new, as I thought about my hair. So we are here in the market for a long time. We have been bootstrapping a lot, and we improved the solution, like the lean startup process, in a point that we are super excited where we are now. So we are last year we invest some money on the new stack of technology because we found this market fit, and we are here with a really realistic forecast of revenues in front of us. So we are super excited. That's why we are, raising 1.5 million to scale EW2Health. We see the opportunity, And we see ourselves in the market as the AI-driven obesity care platform of the future. So we're super excited what the predictive behavior analytics is doing to the clients, how the clinics are dealing with us, how it's able to scaling up. So this is your opportunity to be part of it. I hope you like it, idea. Our team, like me, it's super passionate about what we are doing. And then I like to stay on these slides and talk about my team because I got always emotional about that. So Jamie have been with us for a few years, investing, doing is super a entrepreneur. Saskia, also top CEO from large corporations. We have so many people here, and that is super cool. So we are super excited to be here and show what we are doing, and I hope to have more time for questions. So I think I did right. So not
Yeah,
bad on my time.
absolutely. Right on time. Yeah, great pitch. Thank you so much, Renato. So let's move to the Q&A session. Harry, would you like to start? Do you have any comment or question about it?
Yes. Can we just go over the assumptions behind the revenue projections?
The revenue projections, you mean?
Yes.
Like this one?
Yes. So just sort of roughly how you calculated them.
Sure. The values, you mean? The calculations?
You had the nice revenue graph.
Oh, the revenue graph. Okay,
yes,
this one.
Yes. Just sort of roughly how do you get to these values?
Okay, so we have three situations. We have the clinics, that is a kind of a small growth, but we have the large digital weight loss programs that are with telemedicine programs, that are work-based wellness programs, and self-insured companies. For example, we're dealing in Brazil with a company that 1.3 million people. They have 300,000 people that need to lose weight. So that's scaling up a lot. So we partner with different kind of scales companies because they have these numberless monitors. We have also developed like a pharmacy scale. So that allow us to be very scalable. So people don't need to actually buy things, but they can grow. So then for each one of these companies, they pay a fee per person on our reports. And they sometimes use our AI, sometimes they have their own AI. So also they pay a fee per APIs. So we have a diversification of these fees. I can, of course, send you more details about it.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Yep.
Astia, do you have any question?
Yeah, for sure. Thank you for your presentation. That was really helpful. Just would love to understand where you are today. Like, could you, I guess, expand a little bit on the traction that you've already achieved?
Yeah, absolutely. Let me bring a traction slide. Here, that is actually in the screen. Sorry about that. Yeah. So we, the last few years, so we have been working, as I said, with a different kind of clients. So we have doing this lean startup today. I think better if I can show you this slide. I have a prepared slide. So we have a sales funnel in our hands today. So we can show the paying clients that we have in the Netherlands, in Brazil. And also we have few NDA LOIs in a trial stage with also large accounts. And of course, we have a team, as I said, a small team. So we are overwhelmed with these sales. That's why we are here to fundraising.
And if I could just have a follow-up on that, like what are these trials looking like? What are the KPIs for success that you're getting measured against?
Adherence. So what they want to do is to see if people really adhere to the program, and mainly if they lose the fear to measure themselves. Because between the appointments, people don't know what's happening, right? So you have appointment 30 days, you have no idea. With this, the dashboard allow us to talk with the users and the clinic and allow, okay, from the 100 people, you have these 30 or 20 that need more attention. Side effects of the medicine's a problem. Also, people feel that the medicine's not working, but we can, because our algorithm clean the noise, like you step on the scale, you have 2-3 kilos a day of oscillation. People know for sure the real weight loss speed, allowing them to personalize better the program and reduce side effects. So as they see this in 1 month, they already go for it. And also have a funny situation with a plastic surgery clinic that the sales cycle was like 2 days, because the guy could see that, oh, people stay with me for longer, I can use to offer my aesthetics situations. And the telemedicine company also, they see this, one nutritionist can handle 350, 400 people, so they can really scale up the program for an insurance that they have, like a self-insured company that they have. So it's really interesting how our technology are covering this point. So we're super excited.
All right, great. Maybe Gautam, we have almost a minute, so maybe a short question and short answer.
Yeah, just to confirm, and this is more a confirmation. Thanks for your presentation. So is your like the product is entirely a software, or do you eventually sort of plan to include a hardware element to it as well?
No, it is software, and the hardware comes from these partners. So Garmin, Withings, in Brazil, TSA in China. So this is they provide the hardware, they have the distributors, logistics, the whole store. We just send the monitor to the house of the users when they need it, or the large traffic scales to the pharmacy chains, office buildings, and something like that. So they care of the hardware. We focus on the software.
And if you're tying up with a pharmaceutical company, will you be able to manage both the hardware and the software, say, components, or do you, like, how does the process happen in that case with the pharmaceutical company?
Yeah, what they like it is the diet-based meal plan. So as this dial change, we know the caloric output of the person, so we can adjust the meal plan, right? So it's super easy. And then we need to make people step on the scale. So this TSEC is the largest scale manufacturer in China. They've made, I don't know, a few millions per year. Withings in Europe, Garmin. Already Garmin is building up the scales. And Wellme is the largest scale manufacturer in Brazil. So we decided, as I said, a few years on the market, so we decided to do that.
All right, Renato, thank you so much. Great presentation, great answer. Great to have you here. And feel free to reach out, EW2Health, Renato Romani, after the conference to learn more about it. And we will share like the details after the conference with the post-event email. Thanks so much, Renato.
Perfect. Thank you, guys.
And the next presentation is Sensor. Francesco Petrini, co-founder and CEO, will present the opportunity to us. Francesco, feel free to share your screen and start the presentation.
Good afternoon, everybody. You tell me when the timer starts.
You can start now.
All right. Every year in Europe and in the United States, there are 400,000 amputations because of complications of diabetic neuropathy. Sensars is on the mission to reduce this number. Diabetic neuropathy is a damage to the nerves in your legs that occur because of diabetes. The main consequence of diabetic neuropathy is that the patients lose sensations from their feet. They do not feel their feet anymore. 268 million patients worldwide are at risk of developing this condition. Now, you may think that eventually living without sensation from your feet is something you can have a normal life with, but eventually this triggers devastating complications. The most important of which is ulceration. Patients, because of no sensations from their feet, do not feel when they have a pebble in the shoe or where they're overexerting pressure over certain areas of the foot, and this results in cuts, which deteriorate in an infection and then an ulceration, which costs to treat $30,000 to $50,000. Ulcerations are the first cause of amputation worldwide, costing $90,000 in the first 2 years from the amputation. We have the solution to these problems, Sensi, a unique worldwide device that is able to restore natural sensation from the feet of the patients, and so help the patients prevent the complications of diabetic neuropathy. We do that thanks to tiny microwires as thin as hair that are implanted transversally inside the sciatic nerve of the person, and with gentle electric current, we restore the natural communication between the nerve and the brain. We restore the communication with the nerve and the foot thanks to sensorized insoles, which are placed under the foot of the person, which register information of pressure and movement, which is delivered to the healthy portion of the nerve. And then nature does the rest. This is not science fiction. We've already tested these in 40 animals and in 7 patients. We've demonstrated the capability of restoring natural sensation from the feet of the patients. In this video, you're seeing a patient with no sensation from the feet, blindfolded and acoustically insulated, being able to recognize when and where the foot is being touched. The market for diabetic neuropathy is huge. Every year, all in Europe and the United States, the healthcare systems spend $73 billion. Our initial target are patients, 1 million patients a year, all in Europe and the United States, with the neuropathy, sensory loss, and the history of ulcers, which really appreciate the danger in which they are and need a device. Benchmarking over other neuromodulation companies, we're going to take 10% of this opportunity, $4 billion. This number is due to the estimation that we make of 40,000 revenue per device on average between national health insurances and private health insurances. We have already available reimbursement codes we can piggyback from, and we're going to have easy access to these codes thanks to the breakthrough device designation that we already received from the FDA. Now, with this estimation of cost per device, partnering up with 70 clinical centers, implanting 3 patients per site a month in the first 3 years of commercialization, we can achieve $165 million in revenues. We've done already much. We've published in 25 peer-reviewed publications the results of our proof of concept study. We've received the breakthrough device designation from the FDA. We've transitioned from a proof of concept product to a commercial product, which is 80% completed. And we've done all of that with $2.5 million only in grants and awards. The team is very heterogeneous, constituting 75 years accumulated experience in the diabetic space, neuromodulation space, product development, regulatory, quality, clinical studies, and approval for commercialization. We're supported by a very strong team of advisors, a lead neurosurgeon, a lead podiatrist in the treatment of diabetic foot, but also former VP or C-level at Medtronic and other neuromodulation companies. We're also supported by a network of pre-seed investors, both in Europe and in the United States. Now we're collecting a round of $8 million, for which we're also working in parallel at $3 million, a smaller round for completing the product, doing initial testing, and doing a pilot study with 15 to 20 patients by 2027. This is not science fiction. This is the future of sensory restoration. This is the future of the treatment of diabetic neuropathy. Thank you.
Great presentation. Thank you so much, Francesco. Shall we start with Maya this time? Maya, do you have any comments or question about it?
Yeah, no, I think it's interesting, and it's a real sort of quality of life impact for diabetes that's not often addressed. And I thought sort of that video you showed was interesting. I'm curious, if you've had initial conversations with regulators, with the FDA, what do they want to see from it in terms of the safety and efficacy endpoints, and how does this sort of progress from the pilot trials to the real pivotal clinical trials?
All right, thanks for the question. We've done a pre-sub already with the FDA, submitting our preclinical validation plan and the pilot study plan. What they give us as a feedback is that our both preclinical and clinical plans are well structured for the moment. What we need to show, of course, adverse events are none during the period of use of the product. In terms of effectiveness, what we need to show is that compared to the benchmark of 40% risk of recurrence of ulcers in patients with a history of ulcers, we reduce the 40% benchmark.
Thanks.
Thank you, Maya. Sigurd?
Yeah, thank you, Francesco. Really appreciate it. Great presentation. Question about, can you elaborate a bit more about the go-to-market? And you mentioned 70 clinics, right? Is the target. So can you elaborate? So who are these clinics and how you're thinking about approaching them when the time comes?
Right. So 70 clinics and the number of patients, they are benchmarked over other neuromodulation companies. In particular, if you're familiar with those, Inspire and Nevro, which are one, a company that penetrated the market that was not existing before they entered this market. And the other one is Nevro, which is instead a company that has penetrated the market where the market was already existing. We are in between because there are a couple of companies that are introducing neuromodulation to diabetic neuropathy, not for ulcer prevention, but there starts to be a certain level of education. So we are in between a market that is completely fresh and the market that has been created. The way we're going to address the clinical centers is going to be, first of all, we're going to try and target, we're going to target the veteran institutions because there is a huge population in the veterans that are affected by diabetic neuropathy. And then we're going to leverage already the network of clinical centers and KOL that we've been creating. We have collaborations with a couple, well, more than a couple, 3, 4 clinical centers in the United States, even more, 4, 5 in Europe, in Italy, Germany, Spain, Serbia, Switzerland. So we have quite a few. So basically, we're going to use the KOLs for spreading the voices, plus the standard approach of going to conferences and making the doctors aware of the innovations that we bring into the market.
Thanks.
All right, thank you. Gautam, do you have any question or comment?
Yeah, just to clarify, so this will be like a de novo class 3 FDA approval process for you, and how do you see the journey to eventually taking this? Like in how many years? When do you plan your EFS and then the pivotal studies?
Yeah, so well, an EFS we've already done in 7 patients where we demonstrated the capability of restoring natural sensation from the feet. Then we almost built 80% completed a commercial product, which we're taking by 27 to a pilot study with 15-20 patients. By 27, we will be done with this and we will start preparing a pivotal study. And we plan the pivotal study process to last another couple of years with approval to be achieved by late 2029 when we will also be launching for commercialization.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gautam. Harry? By the way, we have like less than a minute, maybe just comment we can hear. If you have any comment, not question, maybe.
Just quickly, actually, what are the 7 patients that you implanted the device in report about the device? Like, do they like it? Do they have any problems? What was their sort of general experience?
You know, the main sentence that I like to report is it's amazing that I'm finally feeling something that I haven't been feeling in so many years. This is the initial reaction that we got from those patients, because eventually they did not have the sensations for many years, and now they finally can go around and walk again with sensations from their extremities. They're very thrilled. Eventually, those studies I've done when I was in my PhD and postdoc in university, and it's because of the feedback from the patients that I decided to launch Sensars.
Thanks.
Great. Thank you, Harry. Thank you for the question and great presentation and answer, Francesco. Great to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. And the next presentation, Senseven Health, the next company. Eva Ioni, founder of the company, will share the opportunity with us. Eva, feel free to share screen. Yeah, if you already did.
Yeah, thank you very much.
You can start when you are ready. Yeah,
then
you
I
have
can
5
start
minutes.
because everybody's seeing everything. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I just. I just need to make sure that I can move it also.
Yeah, I see your mouse click.
So I think it will work now.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's jump into another, nervous system area and sensation area, but this time into the mental health care. That is another area that deserves innovation and urgently. So why is that? Because mental health is often invisible, and it not only costs a lot of money, but also a lot of burden to patients and therapists that actually lack the tools to objectively measure it and manage it effectively. It affects 30% of the population, is a huge prevalence, but in fact, only 70% of treatments are effective because they are lacking objective monitoring. And this is why we are here to change this. We are here to empower mental health patients and therapists to use voice as vital sign to bring more objectivity, to detect and forecast as easily as checking the weather. So on one side, we help therapists to use tools to raise their success rates, and on the other side, we make tools for patients to cope independently. And how we do it, we bring a voice biomarker monitoring along the entire patient journey, from like a more powerful analytical tool than the traditional methods, from the momentum of awareness when symptoms occur, to matchmaking, to therapy booking, in fact, and to the point of a companion app for both therapists and patients, a co-pilot for therapists and a patient agent, AI agent for the patient. And at the core of our technology are the vocal biomarkers, is those cues in the voice that convey signals about mental health states, like mood and emotions. It's like a little bit, actually a lot like mental health per se, the tradition of itself, but this time it's not about only what you say there, it's also about how you say it, which then allows us to leverage this for monitoring and kind of CGM. We talk a lot of monitoring today, a little bit like CGM for mental health, like continuous glucose monitoring, like continuous mental health monitoring. And the thing that is special about it is that on the side we measure, and on the side we predict on the other side. So a kind of seventh sense for mental health. And all that done with federated learning for major privacy and AI built on the end device. So I am the founder, and I come from the domain knowledge and from the industry. I have been working for 15 years, and my co-founder over 17 years in the tech industry. We both bring over 30 years of experience in tech and industry. So our business model is like a typical health insurance, a healthcare business model. Health insurances reimburse both therapy sessions and the app, and are incentivized by measurable cost savings and improved therapy adherence. We keep a commission for the therapy sessions and monetize the companion app. The market is obviously huge, with reaching 9 billion by 2030. We start in Germany in the psychotherapy market and addressing a 2 billion market opportunity for those that are currently in treatment. So what makes us special? What differentiates us?
By the way, you have less than a minute, just to let you know if you want to.
Thank you. Is that we're focused on the healthcare, on the psychotherapy, and bring both sides of that. So on one side, deep tech, and on the other side, the marketplace. We have launched already the marketplace, and are building the companion app right now. So we have achieved so far a lot of milestones. We have proven a profitable business model, a high accuracy of the model, and last but not least, a major milestone in our growth, 2.4 million annual value of a statutory health insurance that we contracted recently. So we have strategic partners, development partners, and partners, university partners for validation studies that we have started already. We are raising 1 million in pre-seed investment, in addition to already 600 equity-free grants for innovations that we have got from research and economic departments. And that's it. Thank you very much for this opportunity to the Startup Club, and let's jump into the Q&As.
Thank you so much, Eva. Estia, would you like to start? What do you think? Any question or comment?
Yeah, for sure. Thank you for that presentation. It's a market that we're looking at a lot. And in the UK, there's a business called Siren that's also looking at diagnostics within ADHD and I believe autism as a way in. Just a question on the way you've trained the model. I'm curious to hear kind of what data you had access to and how you validated that process, given that I think you mentioned 80% accuracy. That would be really helpful.
Oh, wow, that is a great question, of course. So this is the special thing. We bring deep tech, but we also use the use case within the business model. In fact, the majority of the data comes from real life, that comes from the marketplace. We bring patients to the right therapist and have collected huge data sets that is high qualitative coming from the real time, which is a unique case, in fact, and have also validated the voice features through the patient flow and patient journey. So this is one part of the data, and the other part of the data is in collaboration with one of the leading universities in the space, the TU Technical University here in Berlin, who is actually collecting training data from those populations that are not affected from mental health issues. So that's the story behind it. Thank you.
Great. Thanks so much, Estia. Take words.
Yeah.
Any questions?
So yeah, sure. So thank you, Eva, for the presentation. Maybe just a follow-up. So on the traction side currently, right? So you mentioned you have launched the marketplace. Can you elaborate in terms of how it has been so far? What has been the engagement? What has been the reaction?
Yeah, so thank you very much. Very, very good question as well. So yes, in fact, we have spent a lot of time to learn how the directly to consumer market is reacting on this. And we found incredible numbers, like a very healthy CAC to LTV, 1 to 4. And this has been very constant. So we have proved this through several marketing campaigns. And on the other side, we have higher retention, like 90%, but this is typical for mental health. So once you find the right channel, then you stay there for a long, because it's a chronic process. And what we also found is a very high registration rate for a voice feature, which was very amazing, actually. Even better than platforms that don't use voice in that. So we have a registration rate from 8%. So this is only the B2C motion. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Sigvard. Maya, any question from your side?
Yeah, thanks for the presentation. I think it's interesting that you're using this throughout the patient journey. And I think just so I can understand the product a little better, it'd be helpful if you could give a couple examples of how that voice analysis really turns into sort of actionable items for the provider. Like, what do they see on their side that helps them better care for the patient?
Very, very good question as well. So the two aspects on that, one on the assessment side. So once they receive one patient, the provider can have a better understanding of the diagnostic, because it's like more a data-driven diagnostic, because on that. So for the first time, the therapist will evaluate not only subjective reports, but also objective. It's like the blood test that they are bringing to the practice with them. This is on one side, and the other side, what would they see during treatment are.
And time is almost up, Eva, by the way. Just
yes, okay. And what they see during that, there are monitoring like moods, fluctuations, emotion fluctuation, not during the session, but in between the session, which is the black box actually within the treatment.
Amazing. Thanks so much for presentation, Eva.
Thank you.
Feel free to reach out Senseven Health after the conference to learn more about it. Thank you. Great to have you here with us.
Thank you all.
And thank you. And now we can move to the fourth presentation. IntelVasc, Andrew Ortega Dagger present opportunity with us. Andrew, feel free to share your screen and go ahead with the presentation.
Sure.
Maybe, okay. Eva, would you mind like stop recording, or I will have to stop for you.
Oh, yes, of course.
Present. So yeah, okay.
All right, can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Perfect. So thank you so much for having us. My name is Andrew Ortega Verdaguer, CEO at IntelVasc. IntelVasc is a company based in San Francisco in the Bay Area in California. Basically our grand vision is to anticipate fatal acute events, conditions like heart attacks or strokes or even cancer. So to do that, we have developed a technology that is composed with a hardware powered by AI, getting data from the body of these patients that so far nobody was able to obtain. And to do that, we have narrowed down very specifically which is going to be our lowest hanging fruit, the indication. The indication is going to be peripheral arterial disease. It's a condition that is chronic, affecting over 9 million patients in the US, over 200 worldwide. And it's a chronic condition that generates thrombus in the leg that causes up to 30% of these patients stroke, heart attack, or limb amputation. So a very severe condition. These patients are largely asymptomatic and therefore they miss their clinical checkups. And currently the gold standard is that these patients have to go to the hospital to get checked. So these problems, these thrombus that happen in these patients, they can happen anytime during the year checkup. Therefore, the clinical guidelines have been updated even before technology was available. This is highly unusual. So the doctors and the medical community have already highlighted that remote monitoring for these patients in both the clinical guidelines updated last year, that remote monitoring for high-risk patients are necessary. So the clinical need is already well stated. To achieve this goal, we have developed Arterion. Arterion is the world's first subcutaneous sensor using ultrasound to monitor blood flow of these patients remotely. And this device is inserted subcutaneously as other devices that are currently in the market and very successful. With ultrasound, we are monitoring flow velocity. And our scanner externally powers the sensor, so we don't need an internal battery. And not only powers the sensor, but also receives the data and upload it to the cloud, where our machine learning algorithms can process this data and convert it into the kind of data that doctors see today with duplex ultrasound in the hospital every day in their consultancies. So we are enabling the remote monitoring for these patients, which until today was not available. We have tested our device in preclinical testing with reperfused cadavers. This is the picture of the team. And we have obtained outstanding results so far, highlighting this graphic in the bottom right, where the standard deviation was smaller than the gold standard. So our prototype was even more accurate than the gold standard because it's closer to the vessel. It's not inside the vessel, it's near the vessel. And because it's closer, we get a better result. So this is the team composed with the top engineers in ultrasound and vascular surgeons and high executives in medical device companies. And our investors are Mayo Clinic, surgeons at Stanford Medicine, a VC in the Bay Area, Growth Factory, strategic family office, and some of the partnerships we have a letter of intent from Royal Philips, a leader in this space, TI, NCU, you name it. And we have participated in all these accelerator programs. The market is enormous, up to almost $10 billion. Not only arterial, we also have a great opportunity with transplants, military, and venous indications. And the business model is selling the device to the hospitals at $7,200. We have inpatient and outpatient reimbursement codes that we can access to. And we are going to charge the hospital. So the hospital is the customer and the customer will bill to Medicare. We also have the opportunity to charge twice because we are selling the hardware
but also the AI component of the predictive care will enable a SaaS cash flow as well.
And time is almost up, Andrew. Just
yes,
maybe 30
last
seconds.
slide. Last slide. It's we have accomplished all the milestones we wanted to do in 2024. Raised $1 million from these investors, and we are raising $4 million seed round, prize round, to achieve our first in human, and we expect to have the pivotal trial by 2027 for full commercialization by 2028. Thank you for your attention.
Great, amazing. Thanks so much, Andrew. Gautam, shall we start with you this time? Do you have any question or comment?
Yeah, no, thanks, Andrew. Amazing presentation, amazing product. Just to clarify, so how do you see the competitive landscape in this space? And currently, as you mentioned, is it done, the procedure done in the hospital only in terms of monitoring, or do you see, like, can you clarify more on the competition front?
Certainly. So today, the remote monitoring for this kind of patients is not available. So the competition is the duplex ultrasound, like an echography that is used in the hospitals and the clinics. However, there are like 4 other companies that are trying to accomplish the same goal as us that we are following as well. And this just highlights the huge medical need that there is, and there are several companies trying to solve this medical problem.
Okay, thank
you. Thank you, Gautam. Astia?
Thank you for that presentation. Maybe a bit of a practical one, but how long does the device last before you need to replace it?
Very good question. So the device, it's going to be designed to last forever. However, that's not going to be the case in the large majority of patients. 50% of these patients are going to have a reintervention before 2 years, and that would be the time that the device would be replaced. But also for the FDA, any device that stays longer than 30 days, it's a permanent device. So we are going to just submit for that.
Cool, thank you. And maybe just a follow-up if I can, but will that impact pricing? So like first incision is worth X, and over time it I'm just curious how you're thinking about that.
So say it again. So the price would be affected by?
Well, I guess, will the price be affected by the number of replacements, or do you think you'll have a flat fee for every time you insert the device?
Very good question. Question about reimbursement is every time you place one of these devices, either inpatient or outpatient, there is an extension because it's going to be inserted during a revascularization procedure, and it's an extension of $7,200 to cover our device. So every time this device is inserted, it's going to get paid.
Great. Thank you so much, Astia. Harry?
Super quick one. Just how much does it cost to manufacture the device?
Currently, we are estimating between $300 and $400. So the margin is really...
Okay, so you have a really good margin.
Say that again?
So you have a really good margin.
Yes, we do.
Yep.
All right. Sigvard?
Yeah, thank you, Andrew. Great presentation. And maybe a more like a philosophical question. I understand from the, let's say, go-to-market slide, so I'm assuming initially you're targeting the US, right? For obvious reasons, great margins and everything. But do you see there's any potential application outside of, let's say, US as well? And maybe you're thinking about more emerging markets at some point later down the road. What's your thoughts about that?
Of course. Well, I'm a European myself. I came to the US to create the company and start commercialization, as you mentioned. But the European markets are markets I know very well, and EMEA as well. Normally, Middle East are quite open, like in Saudi Arabia or UAE are quite quick adopting technologies that bring value if they have FDA. European markets might need a little bit more time, 3, 4, 5 years commercialization in the US until they see the cost-effective effectiveness of the device due to the heavy public healthcare component. But also we are going to do our first in human trials in Mexico, thinking about the expansion in other LATAM regions as well.
Okay, thanks.
All right. Thanks so much, Andrew, for your presentation and answer.
My pleasure.
Great to
Thank
have
you,
you
guys.
here. Thank you. And now we are moving to the next presentation, which is the fifth presentation for today. EndoCure, Hadas Siso, CEO of the company, will do the presentation. Hadas, feel free to share your screen and go ahead with the presentation.
Thank you very much for this opportunity, sharing. You see my screen, yes?
Yes.
Okay. So EndoCure is transforming the ultrasound imaging beyond your imagination, and I will show you how. So the problem we solve is the problem of decade and even more lost to misdiagnosis. Think about a tumor that can go undetected for 10 years and even more. And after treatment, the recurrence can also be missed. The reason for that is that current non-invasive imaging modalities cannot detect tumors smaller than 5 millimeters. And that's a very big problem because once you detect the tumor, it's already too late. So our solution, the Revulan Robotic AI-powered ultrasound imaging platform, enables to detect very small 1 millimeter tumors. It actually transformed the very operator-dependent manual ultrasound that you know today to operator agonist, standardized automated imaging tool. We do it seamlessly with any off-the-shelf ultrasound, and we produce 3D in the same way or similar way to X-ray that has been transformed to CT. We enable multimodality imaging that is very important for differentiation if you want to use contrast imaging, for example. And we produce DICOM that are standardized medical images with 0.1 millimeter spacing. And that's what enables us to detect the very small tumors. The final part of our solution is the AI software per application that would flag the small tumors and reduce the needs for expert interpretation. So we reduce the needs for expert twice. First, at the data acquisition, and second, at the interpretation part. Our first beachhead application is endometriosis. I can talk about it for days, but I have only 3 minutes left. So I will tell you the important facts. This is a very, very difficult women's health condition with a huge market of 200 million patients worldwide. They suffer from 11 years in average of delay in diagnosis because the lesions or benign tumors that cause the condition are so small that they are invisible in any imaging modality, and the patients are often dismissed. This leads to a huge US burden on the healthcare system, and the call for action actually came from the market itself. We have done a strong market validation, established partnership with Mass General Brigham in Boston and Netzion Medical Center in Israel, and gathered letter of intent from top centers around the world, including Blue Cross Blue Shield, that realized how important our solution and how could it save eventually the costs for the healthcare system. Well, usually when you think of medical device, you probably imagine super slow time to market. Well, in our case, it's very fast. It's a simple device as we integrate to an off-the-shelf cleared ultrasound system, and we can reach the market within a year from funding. Our go-to-market strategy includes initial direct sales to expert KOLs that will partner with us in clinical studies, and then scale up to actually eventually our vision is wherever there's ultrasound, we can maximize its capabilities and make it better. We have identified several partnership options. For example, the ultrasound manufacturers. There are, of course, many of those, and others like Medtronic, Caron, that is an insurance company, Bracco, who produces the contrast materials, and more. So I guess everybody tells you they have great teams, and I want to explain why we have such a good team specifically for this company. Our team is super experienced. My partners have done multiple exits. Dr. Yaron lives in the US, where it's our first initial market, and Professor Moshe Shoam is a renowned expert in medical robotics. The other team members are so passionate that they joined me even before we had any money, and I think that makes a lot of the difference and makes them very passionate about this. Of course, we have also 2 KOLs in the US, as again, this is our initial market. So all that is left for you is to join us, impacting the life of millions. We have fundraised till today $2 million, mostly non-dilutive, that we very, very much appreciate. And we're looking for $2 million additional dollars for IRB approved clinical study and FDA file. So thank you, and I'll be happy to answer any question.
Thank you so much. Great presentation. All right. Maya, would you like to start? Do you have any comments or question?
Yeah, thanks for the presentation. And I
Thank
think
you, and good to meet you again.
nice to see you again. Yeah, I think endometriosis is a really large and important market. And I think one question I had was a benefit of current ultrasound is that the device is pretty small. And I think the one you showed was a little larger. And so how do you think about adoption into clinics, just in terms of the physical space?
Yes.
How are you making that sort of argument for adoption?
Thank you. Very good question. So when my team joined me a year ago, the goal was, let's do a system, a minimal viable product as fast as possible, because we want to begin clinical studies as soon as we can. And the guideline was to lower the R&D risk as much as possible. So no consideration for cost, no consideration for dimensions. The only consideration that led us was, how can it work fast? And that is why this first prototype is quite large. It's like a bridge over the patient. And in order to do that, to reach the final product, we want to do it responsibly. We want to gather feedback from the clinical studies, from the users and the patients, to do a product market fit with experts, gather all of the market requirements, and hopefully design the product once and do it good, as you say. So definitely, this is not the final design. Thank you for that.
Thanks.
Thank you, Maya. Harry, a question from our side?
Yep. I guess, what do you think are the key technical innovations that you made that allow you to get the key technical innovations that you made that allow you to get such a high resolution image?
Yes. So of course we have a patent on the solution. What we do, we just take the off-the-shelf ultrasound. Let's assume that is this thing, and we move it very stably and slowly over the skin of the patient without deforming it. We have a special, unique way of touching the patient, keeping the contact for the ultrasound beam to be transferred without pressure, so we don't deform the tissue. And we stream the data to our software in a frame rate of 60 frames per second. So with that combination, all designed for that purpose, to get the very, very high image quality and resolution that we do. So this way, we produce parallel slices distant from one another, as I showed, 100 micron.
Awesome. And if I just follow up,
Sure.
Why is that not possible to do with a human hand?
Yes. So yes, I have movies to show that, but I will try to explain. There are a few limitations with manual ultrasound. What I can do today is to detect only lesions or tumors 5 millimeter in size and beyond. One factor is that you have to interpret the data in real time, unlike CT and MRI, right? The sonographer or the physician is moving over the area of interest, and they have to look and interpret it in real time. Now, he cannot process 60 frames per second like the robotic system, right? Maybe 6 if he's very good at what he's doing, okay? So that's one limitation. The other one is that the hand is not stable like the robotic system. We've done this test with targets, ball targets specifically for that purpose, and we had a physician visited. We gave him the same transducer, and the same transducer was held by our robotic arm, and he missed the 1 millimeter targets. Because once you even scroll a little bit with the transducer, you just miss it. It's impossible to see. And these are part of the reasons. Yeah.
Great, thanks.
You're welcome.
Thanks so much, Harry. Maybe we can have a just quick comment or question. Maybe Gautam, do you have any question or comment? Because we have less than a minute to be honest.
Yeah,
So maybe
just to very
feedback.
quickly, how do you see the competition, say, from CT scan or an MRI, like which are more advanced and they can definitely go much finer and stuff. So are you trying to place your product in between and effectively for, say, these smaller sort of lesions, isn't sort of CT scan more efficient? How do you take this?
Yeah, so each
And we need
modality has
very
its,
short
you
answer
know,
for that, by the way.
excuse me?
We need very short answer for
Yes,
that.
I'll keep it short. Each modality has its benefit and shortcoming, of course. With CT alone, you cannot detect tumors or endometriosis. You need PET-CT and you lose resolution. Same for MRI, you cannot detect very small structure. Eventually, you never get a decision based on just one diagnostic imaging modality, right? You take them all. And I think ultrasound can be a very good first line test because it's affordable, it's safe, especially if we would enable the use of contrast agent, you can get a differentiating diagnosis immediately and then continue to the other modalities.
All right. Thank you so much, Adas. Great presentation. Great to have you here
for
with
the
us.
opportunity.
Thank you. And the next presentation is Sierra Medical. Liberty Foreman, CEO and co-founder of company, will do the presentation.
Can you see my screen okay?
Yes.
And hear me? Fine. Okay, great.
Yep.
So thank you very much for having me. Today I am here to talk a little bit about infrared spectroscopy, which is a really incredible technology that's been adopted by many demanding industries. But its applications are primarily limited to specialized organizations with in-house experts and substantial resources, because frankly, the data is actually quite complicated to analyze. But we're changing this with our AI-based analytics platform. We automate signal processing, quality control, and biochemical quantification. Essentially, what we're able to do is provide any user with a drag and drop capability of put raw data in and get out a results report. And by understanding and automating the complete pathway for complex data analysis, we're able to open up this application of infrared spectroscopy to any industry. And that's without the need of any specialist operator. So what we're initially targeting is the untapped market of healthcare. My name is Liberty Foreman. I have a PhD in the clinical application of infrared spectroscopy, and I'm the inventor behind the original analytical methodology. So I'm joined by my seasoned CFO, Robert, who's had multiple successful exits, and my CTO, Josh, who has a decade of medtech startup experience. So our first product is in the detection of early lung cancer, and it just uses a cheek swab. And lung cancer is the #1 global killer. Most diagnoses are late stage, and this means that it's really expensive to treat and also is associated with high mortality. And despite this global need for earlier diagnostics, there is currently no affordable and accessible triaging or screening for early lung cancer detection. So we've taken our product from an academic project right through industry-sponsored clinical studies, and now we're UKCA regulatory approved. And we have an overall clinical performance of 93%, that's 97% sensitivity and a 91% specificity. We use a mouth swab because it's a molecular mirror to the lung, and the test is easy and non-invasive. It's essentially like a COVID test, but without the gagging. And the test can be done at home by a patient themselves. The analytics platform we've developed is secure, it's scalable, it's web-based, it's on AWS, and our patented algorithm is embedded. Essentially, a healthcare professional will use our platform, they'll request a test, the patient will then do that test, they'll send it to our third-party laboratory. Our first laboratory is in Queen Alexandra Hospital in the UK. The lab will then measure the data, upload it, and then the results report is available immediately. We're triaging patients at the beginning of the patient pathway, and this allows us to be effective and efficient with the use of X-rays and CT scans later on down the pathway, reducing backlogs and waiting time. Our technology provides clinicians with brand new information about a patient. This makes it both effective as a standalone diagnostic tool or decision support tool, as well as a complementary test to existing liquid biopsy tests in development. But I want to emphasize this is not genomics. This technology is about taking a proven technique and applying it in a novel way to modernize healthcare. It's been developed alongside leading clinicians and medical pathways from well-known professionals, not pathways, from well-known establishments. Since 2021, we've designed and built the platform, we've trained and clinically validated the algorithm, we've implemented an ISO certified quality management system. We've just launched in the UK, we're onboarding the first patients, patients. And the next stage is to target US and EU markets. We're a software as a medical device operating a B2B model. This year and next year, we're focused on UK growth, starting with private GPs and dental practices. From then, established health hubs like platforms like Zoe or Thriver. And then from 2027, we're looking at international expansion through healthcare providers, medical insurers, and retail pharmacies. With such a versatile and comprehensive analytics technology, we've got a variety of exit opportunities, including sale of an individual application, the whole platform, or indeed the underlying spectral data processing technology. And it will kind of depend on investors' timeline for exit as to which one we look at. We are currently raising 9 million to fund scaling, and international growth over the next 2 years. And after that point, we'll be expected to be self-funded. So if you're interested in partnering or investing, happy to have those conversations and looking forward to your questions. Thank you.
Amazing. Great timing. Thank you, Liberty. Sigvard, do you have any question or comment? What did you think about the presentation?
Yeah, thank you, Liberty. Great presentation. I mean, maybe my question is, can you elaborate a bit more on the unit economics and the business model? So yeah, how are you, how much you will be charging essentially?
So because this conversational picture is recorded and we're currently undergoing negotiations with both the supplier of the laboratory and also the customers, we left the pricing out on purpose. What we're looking to achieve once we hit scale is a price point of £95 per test. And that relates to about 70% gross profit margin.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Estia?
Yeah, 2 short ones for me. I think short, but I'd be curious if you could kind of draw out what a partnership with Thrive and Zoe would look like. Just explain that in a little bit more detail. And then the second one is just the key hires for this round. Like, what are the roles you'd really love to fill, and what do those profiles look like? Thank you.
Yep. Okay. So the reason why we're looking at a partnership with someone like Thrive or even Everlywell is we currently do our own boxes where we send out the patients and the swab. All you need is a swab. And so we don't want to be a logistics or sample delivery consumer-based business. So we'd rather just do the analytics from the lab side and provide the test. So it's a bolt-on test for those sorts of platforms. And then does that answer that part of the question? Okay, right. From the team perspective, so we're a team of 7 right now, comprising of mainly engineers, data scientists, QAs. What we're looking to onboard in the first stage is business development, because currently I'm doing all of that and running the clinical trials. Not a good combination. We already having some idea of the type of person, but we haven't identified the specific. And then beyond that, we need key opinion leaders. The team, from that sense, is apart from the business development and an onboarded permanent quality and regulatory person, we're outsourcing that at the moment, is pretty solid. So it's business development and some key opinion leaders.
Thank you, Estia. Gautam?
Thanks. Very nice presentation. Very clear. Just to clarify more about your medical evidence that you're claiming. So in terms of your sensitivity, specificity that you've done, can you talk about the study? How many patients, and what was your gold standard that you compare it with, and whether these patients already had lung cancer or not? What was the clinical setup like?
Yeah. Okay, so we've done 2 clinical studies so far. One was a lab-based clinical study, which was just a proof of concept, and the second was a 550 patient clinical study at a single site in the UK. So the control participants included healthy, we're predominantly at the moment looking at non-small cell lung cancer. The control patients were healthy non-smokers and healthy COPD smokers and COPD sufferers. So roughly speaking, it's 100 in each category. And then the test subjects were cancer participants from stages 1 to 4 of non-small cell lung cancer. About 25% were early stage and 75% were late stage, but we made sure that the way that we'd split the test and training set was age and gender matched. And where possible, we put all of the early stage patients in the test set. I think that, does that answer most of your
The
question?
gold standard. What were you comparing it with? Yeah.
Biopsy.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you,
Thank you.
Gautam. Maya, do you have any question? Maybe short question and short answer for that. We have less than a minute.
You know, I think so. Right now, you are not handling sort of the spectrometer, like the hardware. And you're working with sort of one hospital for that. What is the sort of structure of that agreement? And as demand hopefully, you know, increases, how are you ensuring that you're able to actually get that sort of raw data for all the tests that you then analyze?
Okay, so we own the
Pretty short
spectrometer.
answer for that, Liberty. Yeah.
Sure. We own the spectrometer for this one, but there are enough labs around the UK that operate spectrometers that we could partner with in order to be third party. But we are aiming to be agnostic, so you'd literally be able to we can read any spectral data, and we have to only do small equivalency study to be able to expand out throughout those.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, thank you. Sorry, someone else shared the screen and I distracted. All right,
sorry.
Thank you, Liberty.
Thank you.
Great presentation. Hope to see you again. Yes. All right, now we can move to the next presentation. The next company is deepeye Medical. Manuel Opitz, CEO of the company, will share the opportunity with us. Manuel, feel free to share your screen and go ahead with the presentation.
Certainly. Here we go.
Yep, now I can see your screen.
Okay. Blindness is the only disability we are all going to face if we, hopefully.
Yeah, thanks so much, Michael. Great presentation. And thank you for everyone staying with us until the end of the event. Thank you, our advisory board, Estia, Gautam, Harry, Maya, Sigurd, our partners, TestPro Consulting, and everyone in the audience, investor, entrepreneurs, our consultancies. You are very welcome. Yeah, thanks so much. Our next HealthTech Investment Conference will be April 24th, and we will start accepting application late next week. So follow our page, our website for the announcements. Thank you, and I hope to see you at the events for future as well. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, advisors.
Bye, everyone.
Okay, everyone.
Thank you. Have a great day. Okay.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.